Hey, welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Cancer. I had to think about that for a second. Know that energy is fluid, roles could be reversed. You got to flip it, switch it, twist it. Always interpret the message as the best resonates for you. Now, if you're new to the channel, this channel is all about healing the effects of trauma, and I do readings that do uncover how trauma unfolds within your relationship, how it unfolds within your everyday life experiences, and how it really blocks us from health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment. So these readings are all about integrating the shadow aspects of ourself. Okay, those are the parts of self that we've detached from, parts of ourselves that we have disassociated from. So when we're detached, we don't really know what we feel anymore. Sometimes we could feel a bunch of different emotions. And so what happens is it affects our energy. And so energy that's held within the body is stress. Well, that stress creates energy blockages that can create energies, psychological reversals is what I'm trying to say. And that's when we get in our own way, when we block ourselves from, again, obtaining the life and the life experiences that we want to have. So if you're someone that has problems in finances, relationships, other areas in life, then this is a channel that you definitely want to join, because it's all about healing so you can transcend the limitations of your mind, and so that you can also learn how to create the life and life experiences that you want to have, obviously. All right, so if you resonate with this video, know to like the video, subscribe to the channel. That's really, really good karma. And understand what we give out is what we get back. So again, you definitely want to live in alignment with the laws of love and the laws of nature and the laws of the universe. And we can do that when we are conscious of our character. Not just our thoughts, but also our character. Our thoughts that we think, which is what I was going to say, but then I said, well, it's not just our thoughts. We can have good thoughts and want to be a good person, but never really, but still have spiritual blocks. Part of healing is about seeing ourselves differently. So another part of this channel and with the coaching is it's not just about what unfolds within your life, but it's, again, what you need to do to heal. Because again, awareness only leads us so far. We have to go deep. So what I'll do within every reading is I pick a card, first of all, that if you want to enter into winning a free reading, you have to write this card in your comment bar. And this is a card that I open up the reading with, and I take it from my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer deck, to get an overall energy of your energy. And this is a word, oh, look, it's a Joker card. That's what I call it, but we can't use that for this. But I always put it back in the deck because I always feel like it has an element of within the reading, like if somebody doesn't have an identity, if someone, again, wasn't able to find who they were, that I would say, again, this card would represent this, because again, doesn't mean that we're nobody. What it represents, however, is if a person doesn't know who they are, they'll have to put something in place of that energy, because you're an energy body. You can't just say that energy doesn't exist. No, that energy exists. And that energy exists of either you don't like who you are, or you don't know who you are. Based on the situations and the experiences that you live, you wouldn't have developed like parts of your identity there. However, the psyche, the mind would say, well, I'm going to look at you more, we're going to look at ourselves more from a negative perception, because if we don't know who we are, we're going to have judgments about what we do see. And so that's why we wear a mask. We wear a mask because we've detached and dissociated from these aspects of ourselves that we don't like. And so instead we wear the mask. That mask isn't who we are. The mask is usually also brings a lot of this energy. And this is the word that you're going to write in your comment bar. And if you, again, you want to enter into winning a free psychic reading with me, again, psychic soul reading with me, because again, we're going to look at the wounds. We are going to integrate the spiritual lessons. We are going to look and see what your person does, whether or not you get that job and all that good stuff that everybody else does. But on this channel, we look at the blocks. We look at the mask part of self. We look at the energy that's influencing you most. And if there's negative energy, that negative energy overrides positive energy. It's stronger. It's just as stronger if we have negative energy because we don't know who we are, we don't like who we are, and we have dissociated from who we are, then the mask is what's driving the bus. And so that's a facade. And a lot of times people are really good at that facade until we get really up close, and then like we see a completely different story. And this is what this energy is too. So what the energy, your energy may be, Cancer, is that, and again, anyone that resonates on this, again, if you can, people wind up listening to spiritual energy that need to hear it. That's how, you know, psychic energy works. Spiritual energy works like a magnet to who needs to hear the message, more than who wants to hear it, who needs to hear it. And so because it's of a higher consciousness, one to help you evolve into a higher state of consciousness out of this energy. Tactlessness is, again, energy that's created due to the mask. And why I'm saying, Cancer, that you were connected to somebody that I believe that you perceived was a good person, but really that they weren't. What you found out was that they're wearing a mask. And so again, diluted. And so because there is a spiritual connection, or was a spiritual connection, this person really believes that you were going to put up with everything. And unfortunately, I believe that at one point that they were in a relationship where someone did, that they never had to pay attention of anyone else's emotional needs, which a lot of times happens, by the way, if we, again, are this energy and we're all about ourselves. It's because we never had to be accountable for anybody else. We were never taught to pay attention. And also we might have not been around people that didn't treat themselves that way, right? Because you're a product of your environment. So when we're looking at it from a spiritual perception, it's not right or wrong. Unfortunately, if you have bad character, though, this energy, you're not going to have a good outcome in the things that you try and go after, because again, you're coming from a place of fear, and fear mainly because you're ignorant. So a lot of times I'm feeling like, now this could be for a few suggested few, obviously, because this is a collective reading, but you could be dealing with someone that grew up in like a small town. Someone, again, that's parents might not have been very educated, parents that were from a different country, parents that, so there's a reason why your person, again, comes from more a place of fear. When we come from fear, again, we're not paying attention to anyone else's needs. We're coming from our lower self. And the lower self, may think that money and money is important, may think that success is all about money and obtaining money. And so, and I feel like that because at one point they grew up without money. So this happens a lot of times too. If we grow up in a certain environment that teaches us lack and limitation, then our perception of what money is gets distorted. Then obviously we would wear a mask too, because there's, everything's out of like this person's overcompensating for the fact of what they don't know. It's what their perception is, but their perception is coming from a place of lack and limitation, not their true self, is what I'm getting at, which is why they're deluded. So you're attached to somebody that is acting like this. And so I'm feeling like, Cancer, maybe you're taking it really personally. You're taking it like you're getting hurt by it. Yeah, like self-critical. And that was the energy that I was feeling. I was feeling like almost like this person is making you feel as if there's something wrong with you, when really this is like their energy. That's not your energy. So just because you have a spiritual connection with someone doesn't mean that they don't have wounds. And it also doesn't mean that they can't heal and that a person can't upgrade. It depends on whether or not they believe. Sorry, my face is itchy all of a sudden. What it means is that they need to see a different perception of their situation. They need to also see what the benefits are. If I'm only taught and only have been in a certain environment, and even if I've outgrown it, it's still safe, it's still familiar. And if I don't have a clear view, and again, a third eye, and I have a third eye back here, that was what I was called to put up. And it's almost about when we can't trust our minds, this mind, the logical, analytical mind, because we grew up in an imbalanced environment, then understand our perception of what is correct and how to navigate our life becomes imbalanced. So everything is coming from a place of lack, and that is correct. And this is why I believe that you're dealing with someone that is being very self-critical about themselves, judging themselves, because they have continued to create the same karmic cycles due to the fact that they come from this lower consciousness. And I believe it's keeping you kind of stuck in a place also where you're self-critical about yourself, because you're allowing this person to make you feel a certain way. So when we look at soulmates and soul contracts and our relationship from a deeper perception, instead of, hi, I met you and I'm attracted to you and I like the car that you drive, I like the job that you have, I can see our lives together would work well on paper. It's more of a soul relationship connection. There's a reason why this person has been brought into your life, and that's to show you again a perception of yourself that you may not be aware of. You may perceive that you're aware of, but it's again, you may say, well, I don't do anything, I don't give anything to this person. But if you're letting someone take up space within your brain, you're still allowing them to, to influence you. And so there's also a sense where this person feels stuck on you. And if you are vibrating on a high vibration and this person truly loves and this is a real soul relationship, well, they're going to rise up. People heal because they get inspired. But in our third eye opens up where we can see new opportunities, a new way, which is what I said this person would need to, again, shift out of tactlessness. So That's a spiritual energy. I know that it seems like a lot and that's like heavy, but that's important because we want to know why, because so that we don't take things personally, because the whole reason why you're self-critical is because of this person, where really they have wounds. And you're like, I know that they have wounds, but there's still this sense of wanting them to change. And so we can't make a person change by asking them to change. We have to change. So let's look at the wounds. Again, rebellious. Yeah, the more that you're going to be like, change, 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 the more that they're going to rebel against you. Because it's, again, a sense of control. So this, you're connected to someone that has mommy issues, daddy issues. You're with someone that was raised by people that they didn't trust. So from a very young age, they were taught not to trust. So they might have an intimacy problem, which is why I feel like, again, this person never really gave and they only cared about themselves. And that's because when we're not raised, it's almost the same as if you were over raised, where your parents were so controlling and didn't let you do anything. It still would become a second chakra imbalance, because our individuality is, again, who we perceive we are. But that doesn't mean that we need to be raised to the point that we are so terrified to actually live and make mistakes to find ourselves, which is what I feel like if you're Cancer connected to this person that was continually making you feel as if you weren't enough because they weren't giving you. And then there's still a sense of, I'm still hurt waiting. Well, that's where you, again, are you too afraid to go out and find yourself, where this person is like, you're not going to tell me anything, because they were allowed to do whatever the fuck they wanted whenever they wanted, and they made their mistakes and they were never reprimanded for it. They were never, their parent overcompensated for the lack that they had. So again, two soulmates, same spiritual lesson, but it's a second chakra imbalance. You didn't get enough emotional, so it's, again, still waiting for this person to come and give you the emotion, and this person feeling like, well, you should just do it, and I'm going to rebel against everything that you say, which there's still a belief that I can't be loved. So again, we can see where the spiritual issues are and how they're playing out. So does this not mean that there isn't a spiritual connection? There is. Love is what's true. Love is what's real. Love is what transcends time and space. So I might even say that this is a past life connection. Again, attached. So again, this codependency, but it's codependency that isn't a codependency where it's nice and snuggly and warm, which, understand, the codependency after a while is never, because there's always a false expectation that comes along with being codependent, of expecting more unconsciously because of how much we're giving. So then we begin to rearrange our lives and begin to abandon ourselves. And as I said, it becomes toxic, where this person recreates the same of give to me, and you are not, again, still not creating yourself. So that's something that you have to watch out for, because that's what the spiritual wounds are, and they are confirmed, through what the spiritual energy was. It was like, okay, well, what is it? Well, rebellious and attached, paradox energy, polarity energy, which is I want it, but I don't. It's a cognitive dissonance. I want it, but I don't. So it could be, again, soulmate twin flame relationship, then there's a psychological reversal going on. And a psychological reversal is where this person gets in their own way. Because every time it's like I want to create the intimacy, I block myself. But let's see what the triggers are, because there's always triggers. There's no perfect relationship. There's an illusion that you can find the perfect relationship because you fall in love with someone that on paper looks great. What they present to the world looks great. You begin to imagine that person almost like an outfit, you know, like wow, that would look good on me. Like that would compliment me. It's again, but it's not a real codependency. Is I believe you have everything that I don't have. You complete me. Where understanding you're a whole person. A twin flame soulmate doesn't mean that there's a half a person, that's your other half. That person has gifts where you have wounds, and you have wounds where they have gifts, and so the strength. It's paradox energy that has the power to be very toxic because it is so paradox unless we find our balance. So the only thing that can really heal that is unconditional love, which understand that's the energy of the universe. That's the energy of unconditional love. That's the energy of God, source, the divinity himself. So the way that we find ourselves is to get back to this place of unconditional love. However, we all have shadows. We all have triggers. Again, triggers due to those shadows. So let's look and see what the relationship triggers are. Past. I had a hard time letting go of the past and fears associated with it. So they manifested in chaos in the relationship. So again, how trauma plays out. Obviously, if we don't heal it, it continues to play out within every single relationship that we have until we really not just perceive it, that is going to happen because we see what we look for, but that we condition our nervous system to, again, hold on to all that energy. We condition ourselves to react and respond in a way of fight, flight, or freeze. So every time you would get close, this person would rebel. But understand the reason why is because they do have attachment issues. And so it always plays out as codependency, but codependency almost like as in a narcissistic way, because it's again not that snuggly codependence where you do everything together and you're always happy and you're living. No, it's like drama because this person is going to rebel. So they're going to keep you almost like psychically connected, and you don't want that. Because again, you manifest your life with the thoughts that you have. And again, because that's what also creates the emotions. And if you hold on to those emotions for long periods of time, well, we already know that we can become sick unless we know how to do energy healing. So anyone that's, again, resonating with this, know that we offer EFT and other healing modalities through the coaching program because it's very important to release the effects of trauma. And psychic trauma is huge. When, again, you're an energy being having a human experience. So when we look at the spiritual energies, we're looking at the psychological, we're looking at the emotional, we're looking to see how they play out not just within the relationship, but we already see how they do. I'm attracting people that have attachment issues, and it makes me feel like I'm not enough. And I continue to recreate, but both parties are staying in a place of being very self-critical. And that energy also keeps us blocked into that perception because it doesn't allow us to see anything else. It doesn't allow us to shift our perception. Apology. Now we're talking. It's like, I feel like I never got an apology when you do something that hurts me. So it's, again, this passive aggressive energy of, again, it's almost, it's very egotistical. It's the rebellious is, again, I'm not going to acknowledge what I do to you. I'm going to continue to disrespect you. I'm going to continue to treat you bad. Almost like as if you were going to chase them if they treated you bad. So almost as if they at one point were meant to, like, either had to do that with a parent, or that they just, like I said, it's like that's trained behavior, where again, I don't need to do it. I don't need to show weakness. I don't need to be a real person. I don't need to be a human being. So we can actually see where the tactless energy is. It's like this person continued to play games because they have attachment issues. So we could see why you would be. But this is like almost like we could see how like being connected to someone like this, you would have a lot of rage. You get very angry because, again, every time you get close, they do something to sabotage the relationship. They have psychological reversals. They need to do energy healing. They need to like work through their shadow because, again, this person was coming from a mask all the time. So they were never going to let you get super close anyway. Their way of letting you get close is for you to allow them to dominate you. But that's not an intimate relationship. That's a dominant relationship. And they might look at it like as if protection, but it's not. And blamed. I got tired of taking all the blame when it wasn't my doing. Take responsibility for your own actions. So again, I feel like this person, again, never wanted to take responsibility for their actions and would project continuously, which happens with the shadow, right? When we have spiritual blocks and we're wearing a mask and we want to be portrayed by that mask, but we still feel love and there's still an attachment because it's not like that love dissipates. Love is still love. However, when we have spiritual blocks, the psychological blocks, they play out within the behaviorisms that is very rebellious and very immature, very rebellious. Anything that is going to make you like an energy vampire, anything that's going to take the energy and put it onto them. And that's because they never got what they needed. So again, they have intimacy issues, which, believe it or not, are attachment issues, where they're almost like afraid because they know that they're like that, where they would become so over the top that they have to get in their own way. It's almost like their sensitivity. So let's look and see actually how they feel, the hidden truth, because even though we see this mess going on here, it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. And why we want to know that is because intention, hidden truth, let us know what a person's intentions are. So something can really look like a train wreck and the intention isn't. That's why God only looks at an intention, because a lot of times we try to put out the best energy, right? But maybe we've made people already see us not good. So they just can't get past what you've already shown them. No, I've seen you like this, so I don't really want to see you any other way. So it's, again, sometimes it's that. And that's understand, because the people that say that, they don't want to really look at themselves, who they are. So if I have to look at you different, then I have to look at myself differently. And that means I have to do healing work, and I'm just not going to do it. Right? It's, again, because it's painful. I don't want to relive those things. I want to avoid those things, but understand the energy remains. Even if you don't, because we're energy beings. What is God? God's an energy, and it's of male and female. We have male and female inside of us too. So with those blocks, those psychological blocks will play out either in male traits or female traits. I know I have a lot of blocks in my male trait. It's like, ask me to do anything in the physical realm, it's like it's not an easy ask. You wouldn't want to follow me around all day. Trust me, you'd be like, that person's a healer. It's like, yeah, I can see for other people. It's again self-mastery. We all have to do it. You know, no one's exempt from healing their trauma, regardless of what chair you're sitting in. Usually if you're sitting in the big chair, what's perceived as a big chair, well, guess what? They're usually more fucked up than you are. That's why they're sitting in that chair. It's because God has given them that chair to say, well, I'm going to show you a different aspect, a different perception of yourself. That's why we're down here, to learn, to grow, to evolve. And there's too many people that are still coming from the survival perspective, and that's because they have so many shadows. So understand that could be this person. It's nerve-wracking to see, but hopefully, let's see, Cancer, what it is. I am becoming a better person. Well, we know that this person then is a soulmate and not really a karmic mate, because they're coming into your life in a time where they want to change. Because they wouldn't want to become a better person. They're becoming a better person because, again, you're making them become a better person. Because even though you walked away, I feel like the energy still remains, like that love connection is still there. That spiritual energy is still there. Just because someone was mean to you or bad to you or it's again, it doesn't matter. Love is love. We recognize it. The person feels like home. There's a soul recognition. We have it with friends. We have it with lovers. We have it with parents. It's that energy that doesn't die. It transcends all time and space, because you are only an energy being. And you're able to connect with your loved ones and the deceased ancestors. It doesn't matter, because it's through the heart and mind. It transcends. And that spiritual energy is that energy of love. And when you have that soul recognition, even if the person is showing you a bunch of shit, sometimes we have to look at ourselves and say, well, what is it supposed to teach me? And maybe it could be forgiveness. It might be, again, to realize that there is no perfect, that it might be also to stand your truth, not waver. You know, I left when I saw you with someone. I feel like that was you, Virgo. Why am I calling Virgo to Cancer? I think that was you, Cancer. Like when you, again, saw this person with, again, or you sense that they were talking to other people, you were like, I'm out. I'm out, because you're not giving me. But understand, this person has attachment issues. It's not like they were dating one other person. What they were doing was breadcrumbing a lot of people so that they wouldn't emotionally get connected to you, which tells me that they're really a sensitive person, but they were taught not to feel their emotions, not to process their emotions. This person was like afraid to be real. I bury myself and work to forget you. So again, but they're to see that it doesn't matter that they tried to like bury themselves, because they're still thinking about you. This person also thought that they could control love, because again, they didn't want to change. Changing is hard, but because there's still this love connection, they're becoming a better person, because they know that the reason why you're not around, they know that you left because you're not going to put up with it. Unfortunately, a lot of other people have, and that's why there's this tactless energy, which I said in the beginning, because this person was never reprimanded, never really parented, never really was allowed to do whatever they want, to possibly to overcompensate for the lack of what was going on in the home. A lot of times parents do that. I did that. We all tend to overcompensate when we perceive that there's not enough. So if there's only one parent, then a lot of times that'll happen. If there's not a lot of money, whatever the issue is, the parent will always try to overcompensate and always try and overgive for the fact of possibly what they never had. So this is how they repeat the karmic cycle, is what I'm getting at. And so what they're realizing is that they can't, and that they're going to have to surrender to change. We will be together again. So they feel as when they're ready, I feel like when they've done enough work on themselves, when they are confident in themselves, that they're going to like come back. Now, does that mean you'll take them back? I'm sure, like, I mean, I'm sure that there will, if the general message that some would and some wouldn't. But however, I think more wouldn't, because this person has already shown like a lot of shit. They were not good for a long time. So they would actually have to, you know, work for it. And this person has never worked for anything, is what we keep saying, which is part of why they don't really even have an identity, because again, that second chakra is all about our unique individuality, who we perceive that we are. If there's, again, those empty spaces, it means that we don't really know who we are. So we're mainly trying to like try to logic our life instead of live our life. And we live our life by finding ourselves, and that means you got to make mistakes, you got to feel goofy, you got to feel, and sometimes we're not really confident to do that, especially if we're detached, which this person is. So spiritual awakening, your person's going through a spiritual awakening, and so this really is a spiritual connection. This is a divine connection, because it's making them awaken to the truth of how they want to live the life that they want. I don't believe this person ever had different perception. Again, maybe, again, you're Cancer, maybe you live in New York City, maybe you live in Japan, maybe you lived in a different France, who knows, somewhere completely different from this person. You grew up completely different. And so you are a completely different person. So it's not, again, the soul connection does not logically make sense, and understand spiritual always overrides the physical, because spiritual means it comes from the divine, where the divine's like, no, this person needs to come into your life. Now we see why you came into their life. But let's see why, well, what's the spiritual good news for you? Like, I mean, obviously, if they came into your life for a reason, what was that reason? I mean, like, because when it's spiritual energy, it's not just one person benefits. Your person benefits because they find their true self by, again, falling for you, by again, you showing them a different way of being, a different life. It's different option of how they've been going about their just life in general and what's important, where again, they never had to do that. So again, when people come into our lives to change, that's what really, that's what it is. Okay, it's time to take action. So I believe that this person hurt you so bad that it inspired you to actually like also ground your true self. Now remember, you're a magnet of who and what comes into your life. So as I said, paradox energy creates the same spiritual block, which again, your person wasn't parented, you were overparented. The message is, I wasn't loved, I wasn't supported, which then person doesn't have a true sense of self. Both parties don't have a true sense of self. Your person's going through an awakening, raising their energy vibration, because they needed to heal the spiritual aspects of not only looking at themselves, or not just like going through life like from this lower perception of being very self-indulgent, whether that was with people, food, just things, like utilizing things and thinking that money was everything, where you, again, I believe it made you ground and become into your true self. Like, work more on your business is what I'm trying to get at, is like do more things that, again, help you cultivate those more male aspects. And that, again, doesn't mean that you're more male, but it could mean it could, but it couldn't. And then for some, I'm sure it is, and some it isn't, because this is a general message. However, it's like you might have had to integrate your job, your career more, getting a better self of self, of stability when it came to monetary things and being able to support yourself, where this person needed to, again, raise their vibration on a more spiritual level to, you know, realize that it's not all about them. Because when you're coming from a place where it's all about you, you, again, like, block off energies to actually having new people come into your life and teach you anything else too. So it was time for you to take action. And that, again, within your own life, because I believe that you had been doing a lot of things, but maybe you didn't have the confidence. But this person, again, inspired you from the fact that they treated you badly, but that meant that you gave them a little bit too much time. And again, not even time, but let them take up space in your brain. It's again, you can be separate from someone and still giving them time. It doesn't matter, we're energy beings. What do you need to release? And again, really releasing this person, because they weren't honoring you, they weren't respecting you. So you actually had to let them go in order for them to change. And that's why what we see is that they are changing, but it takes time, and it would take time because there was the awareness. And at first there was a lot of rebellious to change, because it was a way that they perceived that you would do it, which is the way that everyone does it. They come into life, they try and be real nice, they try and, you know, explain, they try to mother or father, they try to give the support. But a person needs to love themselves before they can love others. They need to do the work themselves, which is really getting to a place of figuring out what the hell they want. And that's because you put them in that place. Like, you're like, no, I'm not just going to be like another, like, notch on your belt. I'm not going to be that person for you. And believe it or not, I believe that their ego got angry enough to, like, not really be acceptance to it, but that time that they procrastinated and maybe didn't come back and then realized that they should have, you would working on yourself. So I wanted to look at just one soulmate twin flame card to see what the message is. And also I want to look at, like, what the real karmic lesson is. I wanted to see, here they are. I wanted to see, like, my energy deck, because the energy deck will tell us, like, what spiritual energies to keep this union in balance, if it's to work out. It's my secret. I want you so badly, but I'm not free to be with you. I'm loving you from a distance. So again, this person is doing healing work, and obviously you don't know that they're coming back, or some of you may intuitively know that they're coming back, but it's their little secret that they're doing work and they're thinking about you. And that I think that you don't think that they're thinking about you, because this person didn't really come back into this situation to, like, heal anything. Like I said, they went from a place of almost like denying and rebelling to you walking away and them realizing, and then going from one extreme to another. So it's not like they couldn't be in the relationship. And I think that that's what they're seeing too. It's like that they didn't have to. And it's possible because when we are coming from a low vibration, we attract low vibration. Your person has bad attachment issues because of childhood, but understand they played out in a lot of other relationships. So I think that your person never even saw a relationship with someone that wasn't codependent, which is another reason why they have those issues. Okay, I'm realizing this connection is something special and worth treasuring. And that's because when you walked away, they realized that, you know, energy, that like their life changed, the energy of that's around their life, and just completely changed and changed them. Please contact me. I may not respond, but knowing you care opens my heart. And I feel like that's almost like you, Cancer. Like there's a part of you that is like you want them, but you don't. And that's because a lot of time has went by. I see you working to create change, and I'm proud of what you are accomplishing. I want to work on a mission with you. So your person, again, sees everything that you're doing. I feel like they're spying on you. They're, you know, watching what you're doing. I'm awakening. I know more than I'm letting on. So it's again, here's the awakening card again, to getting real about what they want, what they don't want. I feel like they've thought about you a lot since the day that you left. To be honest with you. And I think what is happening is it's getting harder and harder and harder, where instead of it getting easier when you leave a person, or if a relationship really wasn't meant to be and you end it, it hurts a lot in the beginning. And then what happens is over time, you know, it's like you forget about that person because it wasn't really any meaning. In this case, your person was all cocky, didn't act like they gave a shit, because again, they never had to care before. And then by the time they realized that you were gone, it was a long time. And now as time goes on and they haven't said anything, and they're actually healing themselves, they feel horrible because the whole time they're stalking you, they're watching you, and they're seeing how they could actually have a life with you, how they misjudged you. I long ago shut down those parts of me that wanted love, romance, and intimacy, but you makes me long for those things again. So it's again, so there's that. So I believe that your person that, and I also believe on some level that you shut yourself down because we get hurt. I feel insecure and it's pushing me to grow. Let me just ask what your hidden truths are, because I feel like these are all this person's inner truths, and what the karmic lessons are, and what they're planning on doing, and why they're planning on doing it. Now, again, out of curiosity, would like to know what your take is on it. Flow. You're going to go with the flow. And the reason why is because there is, again, that spiritual connection. And I feel like you were mad. I do feel like you wanted to walk away. I believe you did walk away, you know, but I think that, and I believe that you were still attached and let this person hold a lot of space in your mind. And so what you've realized is like you would like to let it go, but you can't. And that's why you're like, well, if they come back, I might just go with the flow, meaning I'm going to sense it out. I'm going to feel it out. I don't know what I want to do. And so I'm not going to do anything because I'm still fighting with my heart and my head. And so understand there's still like ego from you. There's still fear there, which is a good thing because it means that this person needs to work and fix it, which is what I felt in the beginning. Support. Yeah, they need to, again, like create that support for you, emotional support. They need to create the support and the foundation for the relationship because they didn't in the past. So that's what I'm feeling. And that's the only way to heal this relationship. So I feel like intuitively you're being led to already understand what to do. And in divine relationships, that's really what happens. They're karmic because it depends on what we do. But if we're so emotional, we can't tap into what we need to do. And I kind of feel like your person got emotional because they weren't willing to tap into their emotions and feelings. They were coming more from that survival perception. And so they were coming more from their wound and not from their true self. That's why when you walked away, they realized that what was missing in their life, and they really kind of like watched you from afar, and they think that they know who you are. I'm not saying that they do. The perceptions of what you showed them, and they can see it having a life with you now, or giving this relationship a shot at least. Okay, so when I ask, okay, what is the spiritual advice, how to deal with this again, especially when we're fighting with our heart and our head, and it's like, well, I have a lot of anxiety because of everything you showed, but it's like I'm willing to like sense it out, go with the flow, but what's the healing advice? Goodness, I refine my character and overcome difficulties by reclaiming positive. I calm my heart and illuminate my intellect to transform shadow into light. I consciously manifest goodness in and around me. I improve my qualities for the benefit of all. So again, this is talking about, this is still talking about, you don't have the benefit of the picture, but you can see that it says goodness there. And what it's still about is about transmuting that pain. There was two stuck to it, and the other one is manifesting of light. I see the beauty in me. I grow and develop my inner self in harmony with light and beauty. I free myself from negativity. My heart transforms, my intellect shines, and my inner light grows. So this is saying, again, for those parts of you guys, because it's, again, this is a soul connection, which means that you're going to get triggered, because it wouldn't be able to transcend time and space. It wouldn't have the element of passion. There needs to be fire. And what creates fire sometimes is that, sexual tension, and sexual tension is, it happens a lot of times when we're dealing with a person that thinks so much differently than we do, but then we're also like really attracted to them. So it stirs up a lot of feelings and emotions, and it's supposed to, because we wouldn't understand what needed to be healed within ourselves. And what this is saying, both these cards, why, again, when I pulled them, both cards were stuck together. This one was in back of this one. And so, but they both are talking about the same thing, which is about working on your character, working on yourself. Understand, this is divine connection. That's still that you're going to feel that love regardless. You're not going to be able to control it. So it's not about controlling your person. It's about changing yourself, because this relationship is coming into balance because you've worked on yourself. They're working on themselves. What this is still talking about is keep doing it. You both still need to do it when you guys are in a relationship in order to create the balance within your own life. Once your life is really balanced and supported, you're not going to need to change your character. You're not going to develop your inner self. Your inner self will already be, that's the character of who you are. That's when your inner self happens, when you have to learn how to trust yourself. It happens when you have to persevere through difficulties. It happens when you're really tapped in to what you're made of, and you're utilizing all your spiritual gifts, and you're manifesting your life, and it creates life. That's how you transmute negativity. The negativity was blocking the heart chakra. Both parties have a blocked heart chakra because of, again, lack of creating themselves. This is why, again, refining character. Okay, refining character means elevate your character more. And that might mean for you, Cancer, ground more, do more within your work, do more within your business, reach out more, like network more. It's, again, more male energy, more grounding energy, like to transmute your wounds. And that would be through, again, your passions for life, which work should really be associated with that. But if it's not, then it's to get into your body and, again, really feed what you love, your passions, so that you can see that energy grow, because we live our bliss through, again, feeding our passions, so that that fire element that happens when you're grounding, and the passion that you have for it, is what actually transmutes those negative energies, that automatically makes you raise your vibration into how you perceive yourself. So both parties still need to do that. And that's, again, that's the irony, because so sometimes we wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be able to hold our energy vibration to the level of consciousness continually, which is to put out our best self, to be our best self. And that might mean to be consistent within work, right? Again, because the person that we're connected to is very good within work and making money. And again, those male energies, whatever they happen to be, it could even be they're good at gardening and you want to be a gardener. It could be anything that's, again, male derived from. It could be they're very logical, very good with business and school and mathematics, and that, where those are not your strengths. Your strengths are, again, the intuitive and the spiritual. So, but you need to ground them, and you are grounding them, where they need to hold that vibration through their character, through, again, not just being selfish, but again, to being more observant about other people and how their actions affect other people. So again, both parties still have wounds. So that's why there's this divine connection, and why Spirit's saying is, for this to work out, this connection to work out, both parties need to, again, step into their true self, the right part of self. And there's enough passion there to be able to do it, which is telling me that this is a past life twin flame relationship, because it's transcended time and space. And I'm sure in past lifetimes, you were not able to really transmute the energy, and coming back into this life to, again, learn those lessons and finally transmute them, so you can, again, step into the higher aspects of yourselves. I'm going to leave that there. Now, again, if you resonated with this message, Cancer, let me know. Give me a like. It's good karma. And again, write the magic word in your comment bar, which, again, remember, was tactlessness. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.